Hi, welcome back to my channel. We're not back with another video. This is part 2 of the Menace saga. If you did not watch part 1, it will be linked down below. This young lady you've seen on the screen is facing life in South Korea because her boyfriend set her up on drug charges. She was dating this guy from the beginning. There were so many red flags that she clearly missed. I don't know how, but women, when we in love, we are blind.
All right. So he's visibly upset. He's walking towards the door. I'm now leaving the room behind him because, out of respect, I'm not going to be in this room with this woman's husband, well, fiance, by myself, right? So we're leaving the room, both of us together. And he looks at me and he's like, yeah, because you want to have sex with my sister's fiance. I'm sorry, repeat that? What was that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He doesn't say anything. We go downstairs and I go off. We are in this house and we are in this guest room and I am going off. And I was like, you need to walk your behind back upstairs and you need to apologize to your sister's fiance. Now. Now. He leaves the room, goes upstairs, comes back and is like, yeah, he didn't even hear me. Like, you're tripping. Like, he didn't even hear me. He didn't even hear me. Y'all, when I tell y'all there's no way that man did not hear him, there's no way that man did not hear him. And I'm literally going off. And I'm like, you are that jealous and that insecure that you would literally put something like that in the atmosphere of your sister's home? Like, when I tell y'all he was working overtime to make it very uncomfortable for me to be in this house. Like, why would you even do that? So, I'm like, all right, cool, cool. So, to take it back to the last part or whatever, the Christmas situation, because I had to redo that story so many times, I ended up missing like vital points of that story. So Christmas. After I made the decision that I was not going to Christmas, he came to me after Christmas and was like, yeah, my sister is pissed at us that we are not going, that we did not make it to Christmas. She is so upset. And I'm like, we didn't make it to Christmas because of you. Like, I don't give a shit who she's mad at, but we didn't make it to Christmas because of you. So one of the things that he would do throughout our relationship was try to use his sister's status to manipulate me. There was a lot of forms of manipulation that he would try to do. A lot of them did not work. And this is one of the ones that did not work because I'm quite literally like, I literally don't give a shit what your sister thinks. I'm confused. And so there were multiple times throughout the relationship, yeah, my sister's not going to like you because of this. Yeah, my sister is pissed at you right now. Yeah, my sister's not. She's just not. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Like, I'm so confused. So I don't know if that worked with other people, like his, other women that wanted to be with him, wanted to be close with his sister. I don't care. I was just kind of like, I'm sorry. What? So that was one of the things that he would do for manipulation. Also, I think that this situation with his sister, that situation at his sister's house was kind of when the smear campaign started against me with his family. Mind you, me and his family got along from what I could see on my end, unless I was missing social cues. Me and his family got along well. Like his sister's fiance, we all got along well, unless I missed social cues. He did not like that. He could not stand that. And during that time, that weekend that we were at their house, he worked overtime to try to dismantle a friendship and a relationship that we were building. Also, I saw a comment that was like, he was using you to get the money from the inheritance. Yes. 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 He was using me. He was using my status, and he was using who I was to present to his sister as this clean individual. Like, he's now clean. He's now off drugs, and he can get the inheritance. And I'm going to talk about that in maybe part 9. But right now, we're going to roll into the grape and the sexual assault. Okay, so that's going to be part 8. All right, part 8. I told y'all in the previous video that part 8 was about SA. This is a hard story to tell. I tried to record the story multiple times. The waterworks started to flow, so now I'm trying to re-record it again without any waterworks and just get through it. It is important to know about this part of the story that I could not remember any of the events that I am going to tell you. I dealt with dissociative amnesia and could not remember any of this stuff until I got to Korea, until I started reporting this man to the police station. And I distinctly remember sitting down at the police station and asking the policeman for a break because a flood of memories just came in that I did not have before. They looked at me and they said, "We understand. This always happens to people who are dealing with a lot of trauma." February 14th, 2023. Valentine's Day. I come in from work. My apartment building has decorated the lobby. It's Valentine's Day. They have champagne, they have hors d'oeuvres, chocolate covered strawberries, all of the whole 9. We grab a glass of champagne. We go upstairs. I open my little gifts. My gifts include a box of Cutwater. By this time, some people are asking, what, was I just taking care of him? From what I know, he was living off of his inheritance. He had gotten some of his inheritance money from his sister. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that's what I know. So we drink a glass of champagne. We take a nap, get up. And he has already opened a can of Cutwater for me. And it's like, come on, let's start drinking. So we drink Cutwater, we leave out, we go to this play. We get a drink from this play, and I think I may have had a couple of drinks from this play, but not enough to be drunk. The whole time I kept saying, how am I this drunk? How am I this drunk? I don't understand how I'm this drunk. This is not me. And he's like, you probably because you mix liquor, the Cutwater was tequila and then you had something else at the play or whatever, probably because you mixed. Yeah, I know how I am when I mix. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. So we get back to the house. He wanted to go out and do more stuff. I was like, absolutely not. I do not feel myself. I need to go home. We get back to the house. He looks at me and he goes, "Are we going to have sex tonight?" I jokingly respond, "Ha ha ha, we'll see." He looks at me and his face structure is not the same. His eyes have no color. They're black. And he goes, "I'm surprised I haven't forced you yet. I forced all my women." I look at him and I say, "You mean grape?" And he says, "It's not grape if you're with someone. That'll be extremely hard to prove." He proceeds to pin me down to the bed, pins my arms down, pins my legs down, and is moving forward and forcing himself on me. I am now fighting him off of me. As you can see by now, I have been drugged. So I do not have any body strength to fight like I usually could. I proceed to bite him on his neck and I think like on his shoulder up here to get him off of me. That was the only form of defense that I had at this point. The next flash of memory I have is my body and head being slammed against the wall and me being choked unconscious. The next flash of memory that I have is him FaceTiming my mother and telling my mother that I just randomly attacked him. I am so drunk and I randomly attacked him out of nowhere for absolutely no reason. He is now on the phone manipulating my mother into a storyline so that I will not be able to speak my truth to her, I guess. The next flash of memory I have is me putting him out of my home, trying to get him out. He is refusing to leave. Those memories may not be in chronological order. They are flashes of memories that I have from that night. The next day, I wake up and I'm instantly looking over at him and I'm like, what happened last night? He has this complete look of guilt on his face that immediately starts to go away when he realizes that I truly cannot remember what happened. He then starts to once again create the narrative that I randomly attacked him out of nowhere. I then start getting flashes of memories in my brain, taking me back to a time when I was in elementary school and a high schooler, I believe he was a middle schooler or a high schooler, I don't know, in elementary school tried to essay me. My brain is going back to that time, a time that I haven't thought about in years. I wake up while I'm getting up, and I now realize that my hoo-ha is in a lot of pain. I look at my body, and I have bruises all down my legs, and I have a handprint bruise on my arm. And now I'm starting to ask, did we have intercourse the prior night? He's like, no, absolutely not. You were so drunk. I would never touch you like that. I'd never touch you like that. Like, blah, blah, blah. You were just so drunk and out of it. For the next week, I am in bed. I cannot get up out of bed. My body did not want to function. My brain did not want to function. And I could not figure out what was going on. I could not put anything together because I had no memories of anything to put together. The only thing that I had was a flashback of something that happened to me in elementary school. I hear him on the phone with his sister, and he calls his sister and he's like, yeah, T's been just sleeping for the last couple of days. She mixed liquor on Valentine's Day and just got so drunk, and like she just can't get up out of bed. Creating another narrative. So, from what I know now, his statement about forcing all of his women is a lot. There's a lot of truth to that. I have spoken to other people who have confirmed that SA or grape has happened to them at the hands of him. And coming to terms with what happened to me that night took a very long time. This is why women don't report. Sometimes we really don't know. We don't remember. It comes back later. So be easy with people who are dealing with SA and who didn't report, because it's really not that easy when you go through something that traumatic. Part 9. Let's take a moment to clear up some gaps that y'all just can't fathom or get together in your brains. I'm not in prison. I have not been convicted of anything. And the reason I am able to be out and free while I'm going through trial is due to my SOFA status. 2, this is a traumatic story to tell, whereas I think it's important to get it out, and my intuition has literally been egging me to get it out for an entire year. I'm finally doing it. Since I've started telling this story, I've already lost 4 pounds. I am reliving these events as I'm telling them. So relax. Like, I'm really going to start blocking people at this point. Before you try to make sense of what I was going through or not make sense of what I was going through, you need to look into narcissistic personality disorder. You need to look into what a narcissist is and what narcissists do. Yes, there were these glaring red flags throughout the relationship, but I'm not giving you the whole relationship. The entire relationship was not bad. Well, it was all bad, but like, it didn't feel all bad in the moments. I was completely tormented when I was with this man. And I did not realize until after the relationship was over, until after I had time to sit down, until I could go back into everything that was going on. If you asked me a year ago, were there any red flags before this happened? I would have told you no. I would have told you he completely did a 180 once we got to Korea. It wasn't until I had all of this time to sit with myself and to actually go back into the relationship and think about everything that happened that I realized I missed a lot. The narcissist, the menace, would not let me sleep. I could not have a full night of sleep with this person around. This man was getting me into sleep deprivation consistently. Imagine being drugged and not knowing it. Imagine going into sleep deprivation. There's clearly going to be a lot of things that you miss. When I got to the point where I'm like, yo, I need to do something, like everything's out of order. This is not how my life is. And I'm starting to like get back into like meditation, stretching and everything. The narcissist is interrupting. He was interrupting my meditation. He would not allow me to meditate. He would not allow me to stretch, and he would not allow me to journal in peace. He had to interrupt everything that I was doing for myself. And this is what narcissists do. They get you in a state of confusion. They get you in a state of confusion so that your reality no longer feels like your reality. So when you start questioning things, you start questioning yourself. Like, am I tripping? Am I the problem? Like, what is going on? So until you can grasp that and understand that, shut up. Like, shut up. No one needs your commentary, okay? Like, I understand that I missed a lot, but have you ever been tormented day in and day out and didn't realize that you were tormented until after the fact? Imagine being drugged and not knowing it. Imagine being tormented. Imagine not being able to sleep. Imagine being abused. Imagine going through mental abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse. There was way too much happening. Not too many people can say that they've been through that. Actually, there are a lot of people out here that can say that they've been through that. And that's why I'm getting this story out. Because not a lot of people talk about this type of stuff. Because yes, it is embarrassing. That's my part 9. Leave me alone. All right. Part 10 of the Menace saga. The marriage license. Remember this story because it's coming up later. So, as we get closer and closer to going to Korea, the menace is very adamant about wanting to marry me. And in the beginning, it kind of made sense because it was like, unless we were married, he could not be in Korea beyond 3 months. But as I started thinking more and more about it, it was kind of like, outside of that, there's no other benefit. And what am I benefiting? For me, I've always told myself that marriage is more so a business. It's a business transaction. For me, that's just how I feel about it. Starting to look at it in a business way and not a, oh, I love you way. And I'm like, no. You're not getting half of my funds. No. So once again, I'm asking the menace questions that I have already asked him. What's your credit score? What's in your financial background? Do you have any evictions? What's there? No, I don't have any of that. My credit score is good. Like, I have a great credit score. He does not have a great credit score, and he does have evictions in his background. Information I found out later. So also, I'm like, what is your criminal history? Is there anything in your criminal history that I need to know about? Even before, like, you were 18. Is there anything in there that I need to know about? I don't have anything in my criminal history. I've already told you that. Come to find out, after everything hit the fan in Korea, this man has been to court over 20-something times and has multiple charges, and most of them are drug related. Surprise. So this information was important for me to have because I have a security clearance. I cannot take on debt. I cannot have bad credit with a security clearance. And I can also not marry a felon or someone with a criminal history. I cannot be closely associated with a felon or someone with a criminal history. It was imperative that I knew that information, and he was aware that it was imperative that I knew that information, and he still held it from me. He knew that going against that information would cause me my job. And he still tried to move forward with the marriage. One day, I wake up and he's sitting on my couch and he's like, I applied for our marriage license. Like, aren't you happy? And I'm like, how? Like, huh? How? So I tell him in this moment that I am not marrying him. Like, I see no reason to marry him. One, like, I want a wedding. I want, like, the whole nine, baby. Like, I'm not eloping, period. So I said, we can go get the marriage license. I'm not signing it. You're not signing it. It will not be officiated. But if I feel like you are my person and within the 5 years of being in Korea, I want to marry you and we have a wedding abroad, then okay, we'll already have the license. Going and getting that marriage license is going to come back to bite me in the behind. And you guys will see that in a little bit. But anyway, I want to wrap this story up by saying that this man knew that marrying me would cost me my job. And he still was trying to marry me. His end goal, his plan was to always ruin my life, was to dismantle everything that I had built.